What made you learn the violin?
When I was very small, I heard my aunt play the violin, and she was fantastic. And I said, someday when I grow up, I'm going to learn the violin.
Where's your violin from?
My violin is from France, and it's nearly 200 years old.
What's on the back of your violin?
On the back of my violin, I use this shoulder rest to help me hold the violin on my shoulder. If it wasn't there, the violin might slip off and fall on the ground and it might break.
What's that white stuff on your bow?
The white stuff on my bow is horsehair. And if you looked very closely at the horsehair, maybe under a microscope or a magnifying glass, you'd see little barbs on the hair, little spikes sticking up, and they catch the string and they make the sound. If the hair was completely smooth, you'd have no sound.
How old were you when you started to play the violin?
I was 6 years old when I started playing the violin.
Do you play any other instruments?
Yes, I played the viola, which I'm sure you know. It's like the big brother of the violin, so it's a bit bigger than this, and it can go 5 tones lower. So it can play a little bit lower. And I also play the piano very badly.
How often do you need to change the strings?
The only string that breaks on a violin is usually the top string, the E string. And that's because it's very thin and it's very taut. It's very tight because it's the highest note and the tension is quite high. So that can sometimes snap when I'm playing, especially if I get very excited, which is very often. The other strings, what happens is they tend to wear out a bit. Okay, so they get out my nail. If I don't keep my nails clipped, I can catch the gut, the winding on the string, and then it wears and I have to change them. But, you know, these strings can last me a year. They could last me 6 months. It really depends. If they break, of course, I can change them. Once it broke on me in the middle of a concert and I had to go off stage and change. It was very embarrassing.
What is the strangest place you've ever played?
I've played in some very strange places. Probably the strangest was a cave that was very dark and very damp.
What is the scariest piece of music you can play?
The scariest piece of music I have played is probably some music for films where there's a very scary thing happening on the screen and I might be playing something like that.
Can you play any funny music?
Funny music? How about this?